Chaitanya Prabhu Patita Pavana Hetu Tavayavatara Mosama Patita Prabhu Napaibeara Patita Pavana Hetu Mosama Patita Prabhu Aha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Koro Ami Boro Dukhi Aha Prabhu Nityananda Kripa Balokana Koro Amigo Doya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Doya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Haha Svarup Sanatana Ruparagunata Srijivaha Prabhu Lokanata Haha Svarup Sanatana Ruparagunata Akajuga Srijivaha Prabhu Lokanata Doya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangha Mage Narottama Dasa Doya Koro Shri Acharya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Koro More Toma Bilake Dayalu Jagata Samsare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. So we are reading continuation from Transcendental Diary, Hari Sori Prabhu. We are in Shri Vrindavan Dham. The year is 1976. He repeated the first two lines of the verse. A little bit of adjustments. He repeated the first two lines of the verse, which describe how Shukadev Goswami was transcendentally attracted to Krishna, and stressed that our material tendencies have to be given up if we want to attain the same state. So this is interesting enough, it just corresponds to the Bhagavatam verse. Just this point. How Krishna arranges, as we say sometimes. So, one more time. Prabhupada repeated the first two lines of the verse, saying that Shukadev Goswami was transcendentally attracted to Krishna, and stressed that our material tendencies have to be given up if we want to attain the same state. Harer guna kshipta. So you cannot be mad after Harer guna unless you give up your madness of material enjoyment. So long we are mad after material happiness, then we do anything wrong. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma. Vikarma. Vikarma means activities which are forbidden. Just like Vyavayamisha, Madhya Seva, sex, meat eating, and intoxication, these are forbidden. But they indulge in these things nowadays all over the world. This is Vikarma, forbidden activities. But they indulge in. Why? Because Pramatta, they have become mad. This is actually a verse by Rishabhadev. He speaks the instruction to his 100 sons in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nuna Pramatta, this is a famous verse. Nuna Pramatta Kurute Yadindriya Pritaya Aprinoti. How people are so enamored by enjoying the senses, they're actually becoming mad. Madness. It's a madness. Madness civilization. Interesting. How when you become devotee, it's easy to understand. This is actually madness, what people do. It's a madness. It's like, as we say, shooting into your own foot. You have a gun and you just shoot into your feet. Why? Why would you shoot into your feet? But this is what people do. They shoot into their own feet. Madness. Pramatta. So madness is there, Prabhupada says. So one madness you have to give up, this material madness, and then you become mad after Krishna. This is your life, then your life will become successful. Citing Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada contrasted spiritual madness to the madness of material enjoyment. That madness is wanted. Yuga itam nimeshena. One moment appears to be one yuga. One yuga means 12 years. So yuga itam nimeshena chakshusha pravishaitam. Crying, there's tears in the eyes like the torrents of rain. Shunyaitam jagat saram. I feel the whole world is vacant. Why? Govinda virahena me. This madness is wanted. Without Govinda, that madness. So that madness we fully exhibited in Vrindavan by the gopis. They were mad after Krishna. When Krishna left Vrindavan, went to Mathura, they became so mad that they had no other business than chakshusha pravishaitam. Simply crying torrents of rain. That is wanted. That is Vrindavan life. So this is a little bit philosophical part here, what Prabhupada speaks. Shari Sori is quoting Prabhupada's lecture. And first of all here, he mentioned that Sukadeva Goswami was transcendentally attracted to Krishna. And if we want to also become transcendentally attracted to Krishna, we have to, this says here, you have to give up our material tendencies to attain the same state. And why is it material tendencies? Because Sukadeva Goswami is naked. This is the point, He had no external signs of Varnashram Dharma. He was not sannyasi, he was not a brahmachari, he was not a grihasta, he was totally naked. In India they call it Naga Baba. Naga Babas. I think before I was even in Vrindavan, some not much, but mostly these Naga Babas are mostly up there in Rishikesh, Haridwar, in the mountains, Naga Babas. In the snow, they're not naked. Because they're beyond, they're actually Paramahamsa, beyond the Varnashram Dharma. Because Varnashram Dharma is still dealing with the material world, who is a brahmachari. Brahmachari has a certain rules, wife certain rules, husband certain rules, sannyasi certain rules, So we all kind of function in this Varnashram Dharma, because Prabhupada explains, if there is no Varnashram Dharma in the society is functioning on the animal level. And what is the animal level? Everybody just hunts all day. Or this woman I like, this man I like, this, man, woman, and whatever. Nowadays they're all mixtures of, 81 different rasas between men and women, and men and men, women and women, whatever. So this is an animal society, actually, animal society. Looking after eating, sleeping, mating, and defending only. So if this is the society, then but these Paramahamsas like Shukadeva Goswami, they're beyond this, which is actually, we will read again in the Srimad Bhagavatam verse, which explains very nicely that Varnashram Dharma. I will read something from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's quotes about Varnashram Dharma, that actually the real Vaishnava is beyond Varnashram Dharma in reality. But the point here is that Prabhupada speaks about two types of madnesses. One madness is a madness of sense gratification. I mean, if you just look at any website, it's a madness. Madness. I went yesterday, I wanted to look some shoes. It's a madness. How many types of shoes are there? This is unbelievable. So many shoes. This is one store. There's so many thousands of stores just in Köln. And they all are selling shoes. Really? Do you need so many different kind of shoes? This is madness. We just need basically one type of shoes. One for winter, one for summer. That's about it. We don't need any, really, in reality. You know, if somebody is really rich, so you can have like 3 pairs, whatever. There was some 20 years ago, there was a wife of a president of Philippines. I think her name was Corazon Aquino. I'm not sure exactly. But they discovered, I think after they took them down, as he was a dictator of a sort. I don't know exactly the details. After they went to their, palace or whatever, and in her storage room, she had 12,000 pairs of shoes. 12,000. How many? So 365 days, if she wears, so times how many she needs to wear those? 40 years to wear 12,000 pairs of shoes. If she would just wear one pair for one day. Why do you need 12,000 pairs of shoes? This is madness. Or people who are billionaires. You're a billionaire, you have $3 billion, and then you work more to get another 4. Why? What do you need for another $4 billion? It's a madness. It's civilization of madness. And this is on a big scale. On a smaller scale, we have our own madnesses also. Our sense gratification, watching TV is an absolute madness, actually. Madness. Sitting in front of the box. I mean, just imagine, look at this, what are we doing? We're sitting in front of the box, plastic box. And we are, hours and hours and hours long. This is madness. Everybody does it. Sport, Olympics. Let's see if this person can jump in the sand, Imagine, somebody jumps in the sand and we are, wow, this is our Olympic winner, gold medalist, such and such. He's jumping in the sand. Wow. Amazing achievement. Amazing achievement. So this is madness. So Prabhupada says here. But this madness has to be transferred to another madness. We have to be mad, which means we have to be in illusion. We cannot be this. Of course, we can be disillusioned, but then we become nothing. You enter this so-called nirvana. Nirvana doesn't exist, of course. This is just an illusion that there is such a thing as nirvana. It's impossible to be in nothingness, because nothingness by itself cannot exist. Because nothingness, there's no, nothingness means negative things. So you cannot be from your existence to become non-existent. This is not possible. Philosophically not possible. What to speak of practically. Something cannot become nothing, or nothing cannot become something. It can change a substance, like ashes to ashes. When somebody dies and become ashes or burnt or whatever, but still you are something. You are ashes. But if you cannot become nothing. So this philosophy of nothingness is not solid, which is also funny. Pun. It's a pun. Not solid philosophy of nothingness. But we can become, merge into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So you can become kind of spiritual, but not really. It's like edge. It's in the edge. And again, after millions and billions of years in Brahma Jyoti, Prabhupada explains that people have a desire. Suddenly there's a desire to be active, because the nature of the soul is to be active. So then person comes back again to this material world. So illusion, so we have to, from this illusion, madness illusion, purify illusion to become actually illusion by Krishna. And in this illusion, we are thinking that we cannot live without Krishna. Just like we can think we cannot live without eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, we can also think I cannot live without Krishna. So this is the wanted illusion, you can say. Because in this illusion, you're actually not illusioned. Yes, in the illusion of Mahamaya, of Yoga Maya, you are not illusioned by the Mahamaya. Although you're illusioned that Also, by the Yoga Maya, you are not illusioned about your existence. You know exactly who you are. Because it says for pure devotee, there's no secrets as far as Krishna is concerned. He knows everything. She knows everything, whatever. The gender you have in the spiritual world. Or it, a dog, I guess, can also know everything. So this is a different kind of illusion. So this is what Prabhupada meant here. Anybody likes to say something, complain, ask. So we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam.
Why is it illusion?
Huh?
Why is it illusion to want to serve Krishna?
It's not an illusion, it's not a material illusion, it's a spiritual illusion. It's Yoga Maya. Because you have to be under the influence of some Maya. You cannot be not influenced. You cannot be out of, it's a system, you cannot be out of the system. Because in this illusion, you think that Krishna is your friend. For example, it's an illusion. You think that Krishna is your friend. Like yoga, like a Mother Yashoda, she thinks, Prabhupada says here, without me, Krishna will die. So she has this illusion that if she doesn't feed Krishna, Krishna will die. This is illusion. Krishna will not die. Krishna is independent. Swarat, he is like Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Madhya Yashoda thinks, oh, he's a young child. And this is illusion. Gopis thinks, oh, Krishna likes me. He's a 16 years old boy. It's an illusion. But positive kind of illusion. And also, when the time comes, they are not an illusion at all. They know exactly who Krishna is. They know the philosophy. Gopis are, simple village women, but they know the philosophy. Well, or whatever, Gopas or friends or anybody knows the philosophy properly. Anyway, this is about the illusion. So, we're reading from 6.11.24, Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ja, kannst du das Fenster aufmachen? Oder? Das ist ein bisschen heiß, oder? Das ist keine Luft. Danke. Jaya. Aham hare tava padaika mula. Dasanu daso bhavitasmi bhuya. Manas mareta su pater gunamste. Grinita vak karma karotu kaya. Aham hare tava padaika mula. Dasanu daso bhavitasmi bhuya. Manas mareta su pater gunamste. Grinita vak karma karotu kaya. Aham hare tava padaika mula. Dasanu daso bhavitasmi bhuyaha. Manas mareta supater gunamste. Grinita vak karma karotu kayaha. Aham hare tava padaika mula. Dasanu daso bhavitasmi bhuya. Manas mareta supater gunamste. Grinita vak karma karotu kayaha. Aham hare tava padaika mula. Dasanu daso bhavitasmi bhuyaha. Manasmareta supater gunamste. Grinita vak karma karotu kayaha. Aham hare tava padaika mula. Dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyaha. Manasmareta supater gunamste. Grinita vak karma karotu kaya. Aham, I, Hare, O my Lord, Tava, of your Lordship, Pada Ekamula, whose only shelter is the lotus feet. Dasa Anudasa, the servant of the servant. Bhavitasmi, shall I become. Bhuyaha, again. Manaha, my mind. Smareta, may remember. Asupate, of the Lord of my life. Gunan, the attributes. Te, of your Lordship. Grinita, may chant. Vak, my words. Karma, activities of service to you. Karotu, may perform. Kayaha, my body. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, when will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants who find shelter only at your lotus feet? O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant, so that my mind may always think of your transcendental attributes, my words always glorify those attributes, and my body always engage in the loving service of the Lord. Purport. This verse gives the sum and substance of devotional life. One must first become a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. Dasa, dasa, nudasa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, and he also showed by his own example, that the living entity should always desire to be a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. Gopi Bhartu, Padakamala Yor, Dasa, Dasa, Anudasa. This means that one must accept a spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession and is a servant of the Lord. Under his direction, one must then engage one's three properties, namely his body, mind, and words. The body should be engaged in physical activity under the order of the master. The mind should think of Krishna incessantly, and one's words should be engaged in preaching the glories of the Lord. If one is thus engaged in the loving service of the Lord, one's life is successful. Aham hare tava padaika mula, dasanu dasa bhavitasmi bhuya, manasmareta supater gunamste, grinita vak karma karotu yakayaha. O my Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when will I again be able to be a servant of your eternal servants who find shelter only at your lotus feet? So this is the first. I just analyze a little bit the verses, the lines here. The first of all, he said, "Oh my Lord, Aham was it Hare Tav, oh my Lord." The Krishna is actually our Lord. The devotees, they consider Krishna Lord. Lord is this. Actually, my Lord, this is a old expression of English. My Lord. This is in the Bible from 7th to 18th centuries. The Lord is spoken, whatever. So, but Lord also means my master, my, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sudurlabha. The Vasudeva is everything to the devotee. So this is what is the meaning of the Lord. You're everything to me. So this is what Vritasura is speaking. Oh my Lord, he said, you are my actual Lord. You are my supreme everything. So, O Supreme Personality of God. So who is the Lord? Who is God? Because God can be very vague terms. God is a supreme being, or this is everything, or energy or the source, whatever. But a great spirit, they say also in native Indian in America, great spirit. So what is a great spirit? Actually, it is, but he's not great spirit. He's the greatest spirit. It says here, he's the supreme personality of Godhead. So when you try to explain to people, and then we give a lecture, and he said, supreme personality of Godhead. What? Supreme what? Personality what? Godhead or Godhead. Gottheit, he's God. There's only one word, God. But now we have a Godhead. Of course, in India it's very easy, Bhagavan. But even then, Bhagavan, there's so many Bhagavans. I first time when I heard about Bhagavan, this was Bhagavan Osho Rajneesh. When I was like maybe 15, 14 or something. There was a scandal that he did some embezzlement, millions of dollars, and he was taking cocaine, whatever the story was. He was collecting Rolls Royces. He had like, I don't know how many, 60, 70, 80 Rolls Royces. So he was Bhagavan Rajneesh. I was thinking, wow, this is strange. I didn't know what Bhagavan means, but later on, now we know Bhagavan is actually one who possesses all the 6 opulences. Van, Bhaga, who possesses all the opulences, so supreme beauty. So this person was not supremely beautiful. He was not supremely even opulent. Okay, he has some Rolls Royces because his disciples collected, but he didn't have all the Rolls Royces. Krishna can have all the Rolls Royces in the world, and much more, of course. So, therefore, Bhagavan, Godhead, of all these gods, which are, he could be maybe in his mind, God, but of all these gods, we have so many demigods, Shiva, Brahma, Durga, Kuvera. So Krishna is Godhead. He's the top. He's the CEO of all the gods. He's the best. Of course, he's actually the source of them also. But he's, at least in this case, he's a Godhead. And then personality. Krishna is actually a person. This is something which Prabhupada stresses over and over and over again. Krishna is a person. Krishna is a person. God is a person. God is not impersonal. And the Supreme. He is the Supreme. And that's it. There's no under this. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is actually needs to be explained. Maybe I'll make a video of this. So, the Vritasura is lamenting. He said, when will I again be able to be servant of your eternal servants? Meaning that he was before, but now he's, as we call it, fallen down, blooped. This is actually the expression nobody's using nowadays, of course, because it's not correct. Because devotees are actually even devotees who are following somewhat principles or not following the principles, but they're still devotees. But at that time meant that if you live in temple, you're a devotee. If you don't live in temple, you have blooped, so-called blooped. This is made by Brahmananda Prabhu, who said, when you throw the stone in the water, it makes sounds bloop. So this is what happened. The devotees are, devotees in temple, and then he kind of made this bloop like a stone, drowning back into the material pool. So apparently here Vritasura is blooped. He's not any devotee, but so he's lamenting, when will I again be able to be the servant? But he doesn't say, when will I again see your lotus feet? No, he says, when will I again be able to be servant of your servants? Which means he's not thinking that he's the great anything, I want to see, I want to have your darshan again, He's, no, I want to be a servant of your servant again. So this is an interesting concept here. This is actually the attitude of a devotee. The attitude of a devotee is, how can I become servant of the servant? And then the last part of the sentence is, and these servants of the servant, he wants to be devotee of, they find shelter only at your lotus feet. It means these devotees are so dedicated to Krishna that there's nothing else in their lives except Krishna. So therefore these people are worthy to take shelter of. So we have this wonderful in our line of the cyclic succession, we have these wonderful acharyas who are actually worthy of taking shelter of. Prabhupada, worthy of taking shelter of. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, pure devotees. Jagannath Das Babaji, pure devotees. Narottam, Baladevi Bhushana, Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivasacharya, Lokanath Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, amazing personalities. So these devotees are worthy of taking shelter of, because they have nothing except Krishna in their hearts. So, this is our desire, to actually somehow or other serve these wonderful, amazing devotees. Rupa, Sanatana, and the rest of devotees. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We read Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's so many wonderful, wonderful devotees that you wonder how is this possible. All of them to be in one place. In Navadvip. We read Chaitanya Charitamrita, all these amazing devotees in Navadvip. And you wonder, how was it at that time you have hundreds, when they have a kirtan in Puri, hundreds of pure devotees. This kirtan must be like going straight to Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavan. It's amazing, amazing kirtans there must have been. So, these devotees are worthy to take a shelter of. And he said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you repeat the names of these devotees, we'll actually get love of Godhead, just by reading the names of these pure devotees. In the third chapter, there's a description of the Lord Chaitanya's transcendental tree. So Lord Chaitanya is considered like a trunk of a tree, and all these devotees are branches. The biggest branches, of course, Nityananda, Advaita, but the rest, there's so many different devotees. Prabhupada says even ISKCON is one of the branch of Lord Chaitanya's tree. So we also, somehow or other, connected to the branch of Lord Chaitanya. Via branch, we connected to Lord Chaitanya's tree. So, repeating the names of these devotees, hearing about these pastimes of these devotees, is actually not different than hearing about Krishna. Because these devotees are not different from Krishna. So, then, O Lord of my life, may I again become their servant. So, why? Because my mind should always think of your transcendental attributes, my words glorify those attributes, and my body always engage in the loving service of your Lordship. So this is the result of associating with pure devotees. Associating with pure devotees is not only, enjoying spirit. Oh, I see Prabhupada, or I see this whatever, Guruji, and I feel pretty cool. I feel good about myself. But this is, as we here see, this is not the point. The point is to be engaged with hearing about Krishna, engaging bodily in service to Krishna, and speaking about Krishna. Karmana manasa vacha. This is the result of associating with devotees, pure devotees. And this is our aspiration. Why are we associating with devotees? There's a trend. Nowadays, there's like any other times, there's always trends in this material world. Those who are a little older, we remember trends in the 90s were different than trends in 2000. Trends in 2000 were different than trends in 2010. And now trends in 2020s are different than the trends, from 10, 15 years ago. So lately we have these trends of celebrity culture. I have to speak this again. It's a trend in the whole world. It's a celebrity culture. When a celebrity says something, like politician, like right now there's a politician who was most powerful president of the USA, and the actor wrote a letter, I think you should step down, and he immediately steps down. Such is the power of celebrity. An actor, in Vedic society, actor is a Shudra, actually, by caste. So, the Shudra is telling president of the most powerful country to step down, and he, accepting it, Because the celebrity culture is very powerful. People are following celebrities. They think, celebrity is eating breakfast. Wow. Amazing thing they do. Or celebrity is voting for this personality. Let me also vote, because he knows he's a celebrity. He's an actor after all. Imagine. Or a musician, somebody sings well and they, oh, this is a celebrity, and then they give some comment and everybody's, wow, this celebrity says this. Who cares what celebrity says? Because it should be the other way around. Actually, the words of Brahmanas should be followed. What Brahmana says in the material world, Brahmanas as teachers, scientists, philosophers, but who cares what scientists, some philosopher of science, from the whatever university, what he says, who cares? But celebrity, actor, wow. An actor said something very, very important. So this is also spilling over a little bit to the culture of Krishna consciousness, that we also have this somewhat tendencies to over glorify the celebrities. There's no harm to glorify pure devotees and preachers of Krishna consciousness, but over glorifying is becoming a celebrity culture. And then by celebrity culture, then actually you're just like non-devotees enjoying the presence of the celebrity, watching movie. Why are you watching movie? Because you get some benefits of it, meaning you get some enjoyment. Or you watch a concert and you enjoy it. And then you think, wow, this celebrity is very cool. I want to, again, because I feel good about it. I got some, personal satisfaction in the heart. So, meaning that when we have on the spiritual side, when we have a celebrity who comes, we visit or we have an association, a holy dam or whatever, we should use this not as a consumer. We should actually use, in this case here, to actually improve or increase my glorification of Krishna, my body always to be engaged in Krishna service, and my mind always to think of Krishna. So this is how we should use the chants. So therefore, it is important to hear what these spiritual celebrities have to say. And then we should try to apply it to our lives. Again, then this is the first point. Second point is that one should accept, Prabhupada says here in the purport, that one must first become a servant of the servant of the servant, dasa, dasa, nudasa. And Lord Chaitanya himself gave this example. He also accepted spiritual master. So first person we should become dasa is the spiritual master. But this is not the end. If you just become a servant of a spiritual master and everybody else, we are like, I have a spiritual master. This is a sign that you are Kanishta Adhikari. You are a neophyte devotee, and you actually do not understand. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, who is a devotee, who is envious, who is to be avoided. This is the qualities of Madhyama Adhikari. So if you don't understand who is a devotee, that means that we are on a Kanishta level, which is nice, proper. We still get benefits, but we will be difficult to make progress in such a mindset, because then we will make offenses. First offense is don't offend. What is the first offense? Offending the Vaishnavas who dedicated their lives to the propagation of the holy name of the Lord. So we'll make offense because we will not see. Like for example, it is beyond me. How could nobody see Prabhupada's genius amongst his devotees at that time in Navadvip, before Prabhupada came to the West? It's impossible. But they couldn't see it. Somehow or other they couldn't see it. And I think this is an offense. Minimizing Prabhupada or undermining Prabhupada. Even after he has achieved so many things, they still undermine Prabhupada. This is an offense. So in such an offense, you cannot make serious progress. You can make progress by chanting, but you cannot make serious progress, which is the goal of life, actually. Prema Pumarta Mahan. So, serving spiritual master, but also serving so many other devotees. And here it says, under the direction of spiritual master, one must engage in three properties, namely body, mind, and words. He has to engage all this in Krishna service. So this is what Prabhupada says. Then, what I wanted to say is I found some nice quotes of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur said very, very interesting thing here. very, Bhakti Thakur was a very radical preacher in reality. We think, Bhakti Thakur is a grihasta. He was a very radical, powerful preacher. He said, we all traveling together on the path of death. Meaning, this world is a Mrityu Loka after all. We all traveling, we all sojourn, he says sojourners, meaning we all passengers, we are traveling together on this path of death. Everyone must die. Therefore, whether one is a male or female, high or low, king or subject, rich or poor, learned or foolish, he can make this rare human form of life successful by becoming a servant of the eternally pure, completely blissful Sri Hari. Even in this conditional existence, one can become liberated. Confirmed. When something falls like this, it makes sound. That's usually, I think Prabhupada said this, I'm not sure. He said, confirmed. This is confirmed. And
Repeat the sentence, please.
so, repeating the senses. Whether one is a male or female, high or low, meaning if you have a high position in the society, high position in ISKCON, low position in ISKCON, whether you're male, whether you're female, king, if you're king of the world, or subject, if you're subordinate, if you're rich or if you're poor, if you're learned or if you're foolish, everybody can make this human form of life successful by becoming a servant of the eternally pure, blissful Sri Hari Krishna. So this we should not forget. We should not get carried away by the societal. Society has to be structured. Without structure, as we said, it's going to be an animal society. But structure is just served to somehow keep the peace in the society, as Prabhupada says. But the real thing is actually beyond this male or female, high or low, you are king or you are not, or you are rich or you are poor, And there's a fashion. Fashions sometimes, in the 90s, for example, when I was in Vrindavan, it was the fashion to be poor. It was, I know. I was a brahmachari, and everybody was come to the West. They were, dressing very old dhoti, and they wash it like 10 times. That time the water in Vrindavan was very, I don't know how they say it. You wash dhoti 3 times, they become yellow. Somehow by the water was somehow whatever, And then somehow always, nowadays we have all asphalt. That time was lots of sand and lots of, so everybody has a little dirty dhoti, a little something, and then you grow a little beard, and then you're very skinny, and you have a little tiffin, and then you eat a little bit, and everyone's walking on the, it's very advanced. Very advanced means you're very poor, and you're very undernourished, and you're skinny, no food, and no money. And this was very cool at that time, in the 90s. Now, when I look back, that time I thought it was like, when the devotees who live in Vrindavan, they go to Parikram, they lift the dhoti a little bit higher, because it's like, anyways. So this was the fashion. Then the fashion changed. Nowadays, if you go to Vrindavan, it's the other way around. If you are like this, if you are poor, you are considered, you are not advanced. Advanced means you have to have a big SUV, big BMW. You have to have you don't have a room, you don't have a house in Vrindavan, so you are not advanced. You did not buy a house in Vrindavan, you are not advanced. If you buy a house in Vrindavan, you're advanced. If you buy a house in Mayapur, you're considered to be very advanced. This is the fashion 2024. And we'll see what's going to happen 2035. There'll be another fashion. But, so we should not get carried away by this. And also in the 90s, it was fashion to be an authority. If you become town president, that means you are very advanced. And nowadays it's considered, if you become town president, that means you are very attached. You are, you cannot function in the material world. You don't know how to make money. So therefore you go to the temple and somehow enjoy free life and how do you say, and try to make money for yourself, from it. So it's like it's the opposite, So things are changing. GBC was also at that time was GBC. Nowadays, everybody could just go any forums, GBC, so much there like this, there like this, there like this. It's not very popular to be GBC nowadays. So things are changing, but we should not get involved with this. Actually, in reality, who is a woman, who is a man. Nowadays we have all kinds of in between man and woman. Who is a man, woman? This is a whatever my pronouns are, whatever they or z or je. This kind of pronouns, different kind of pronouns. But all these people are actually just souls, and everybody can make advancement in spiritual life. How? By becoming the servant of the servant of the servant of the Krishna. Because Krishna is eternally pure and completely blissful, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. So, if you serve a person who is actually very close to the person who is very blissful and supreme, then you also become blissful and supreme. And he said, even in this conditional existence, one can become liberated. So anybody can be liberated. Anybody can be liberated at this moment. But we should encourage people to be liberated. Again, I'm just putting myself on the other side now, on the celebrity side. If I'm a preacher of Krishna consciousness, I should actually encourage people to practice Krishna consciousness. I should not just, offer a good show for people to watch. I give a very nice lecture, I give a nice kirtan, Haribol, you go home, I go home, very nice. This is also a trap. We should actually, the duty of a preacher is to actually inspire people to change their lives. Change your life. As not Varahadev, Rishabhadev said, Nuna Pramata Kurute. This is such a heavy verse. Let me see if do I have an internet here? I have an internet here. This is the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is just an amazing verse. It's such a, you can say, heavy verse. Rishabhadev teaches to his sons. Listen to this. Lord Rishabhadeva told to his sons, my dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded a human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stew. This is a heavy preaching. Of all the forms in this life, you have a human form, so you should not be engaged like dogs and hogs. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness, which continues forever. This is such a meaningful verse. And this is or should be the preaching of the preachers. Do not engage in materialistic activities. I know it's difficult, but I should not be, as Prabhupada says, or we in ISKCON, many times we quote this, the example of a boil. So if you have a big boil full of air inside, or pus or whatever, and if you just say, you blow it and you hope it will somehow, or you put some cream, it will be better. No, this has to be cut. The boil has to be cut because it can become more infected. So if you cut, it's painful at the moment. Nimai knows. I actually did cut his boil once. But he did not want to cut, isn't it? Yeah. Nimai did not want to cut it. He said, I should keep it and it will go away. And I said, no, cut it. I said, cut. And he cut. It was painful a little bit, not really. And then it was over. So, you see, this is example. So, this is the example of a preacher. He actually has to tell people, no, this is not good. And the people should actually want to hear this kind of message. if the people in the audience, they think, oh, he's telling us that we should not enjoy material life, he's not a good preacher. I'm going to the other one, which tells me that I can enjoy it. And even in Christianity nowadays, they have this called non-denominational Christians, which means they don't belong to any, they're not Catholics, they're not evangelic, they don't belong to any of these groups. They're just like about Jesus, you know, like a Ritvik kind of Ritvik, you know, outside of the disciplic succession, they go straight to Jesus. Forget about all this servant of the servant of the servant. And there was a one particular preacher, I don't want to name his name, and he's like enormously successful. I think he has around 20,000 people every Sunday to his church visiting. And his church is like a not a football stadium, but auditorium. You know, he has a big stage and all these seats and everything is first class. But his main message was, Jesus wants you to become rich in this material world. He's like a motivational speaker through Jesus. So all his disciples or followers, they are really endeavoring to make lots of money to be rich, you know. And when they said, well, he was right. The Guruji was right. So therefore we should give money to Guruji. And Guruji was doing huge apparently himself as far as finances. But this is not what is the purpose of spiritual life. And even in Christianity, he is very controversial personality. Many Christians don't agree with this because this is not the purpose of Jesus, to become rich in this world. So the purpose of the preacher is not to actually glorify the disciples or glorify the audience, how wonderful you are. And the purpose of a preacher is to actually to cut this boil somehow and tell people you should engage in devotional service with karmana, manasa and vacha. Why? Because by this, one's heart can become purified. Our hearts cannot become purified by somebody praising us. Oh, this is wonderful. You're wonderful. Just do whatever you like. It's nice. You don't need to follow anything. Okay, a little bit, you know. Sometimes you can follow if you like. But our hearts cannot be purified like this. Your heart cannot be purified. My heart cannot be purified. And what is the need to be purified, to have a purified heart? If we have purified hearts, we can attain eternal, blissful life, transcendental to this material happiness. And Prabhupada says, which continues forever. So this is what we want. We actually don't want to do, in reality, anything with this world, whatsoever. Prabhupada says, one should be very pessimistic about living in this material world. It sounds horrible, but pessimistic. What is this for? I was reading this Prema Bhakti Chandrika by Narottam Das Thakur. And Narottam Das Thakur says, all this is illusion. I think that I have disciples, you know. He said, this is all illusion. I'm as a guru is illusion, disciple is illusion. In this material world, everything is illusion. Wealth, opulence, and disciples is all illusion, actually. Nobody is disciple of anybody. We're just servants of Krishna, eternal servants of Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. This is what I wanted to say today about this topic. If you would have any questions, or question one. Yes.
Question. It's a little related, but maybe not. We hear that Krishna is self-satisfied, Atmaram, and we also hear that he is under the control of his devotees.
Yes.
How do I understand these two different things?
Just like that Krishna is self-satisfied. He doesn't need anything, but he also can use things if he wants to. This is his satisfaction. This is going to psychology of Krishna. It's not this. I actually plan one day, maybe if I ever, to actually analyze with somebody who actually studies psychology of Krishna. It's not. I think it'll be interesting to see, and then I think we'll for sure realize that Krishna's mind is not is not easy to understand. Like for example, this when he says, "Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshta priyaha," I'm equal, but whoever is my devotee, I'm not equal. So this is difficult to understand. If Krishna says I'm equal to everybody, but if someone is demigod or they like Krishna, then he's partial, but he's actually equal. Because Krishna is equal. Krishna is equally merciful to the demons who he kills. They get liberation. So he is equal. But at the same time, he is partial because he is a person. So I think this is we can say one. And the second thing is that this is not possible to understand, again, like many aspects in Krishna, because of Krishna's mystic powers. We cannot fathom Krishna's mystic powers. Because Krishna's mystic powers is Krishna is everything, like everything. Like everything, one big everything. But again, when I'm trying to visualize in my mind, but it doesn't work so well, how can everything be situated, located, where? Where is everything located? If you said this is a computer, it's located in space. There's a space in this room, and there's a space on this desk. So it's located somewhere. But Krishna is everything, and everything is located in Krishna, and nothing is outside of Krishna. And yet he is, Krishna. And where is Krishna located? There's no Krishna because Krishna is everything. So he's not located anywhere because he is the location. So this is difficult to understand. This is a Chintya Bheda Veda Tattva. Our philosophy is very deep, very deep philosophy actually. And also our philosophy is mixed with, to understand this you have to have a mystic powers, which we cannot have to understand Krishna. Enough. Somewhat, partially, we can understand Krishna, but not fully. So this everything desires nothing because he is everything. But within himself, he creates devotees to interact with them, although he doesn't need anything. But this devotee is also himself. You understand? So it's like he's exercising his independence by creating these devotees within himself. So that's what I'm saying. It's a mystical. But it'll be interesting one day really to analyze psychology of Krishna, to see how is this, at least to attempt how the Krishna's mind works. That'll be very interesting. Well, Hare Krishna, anything else?
But they're saying Krishna isn't Vrindavan, so he's not going out of Vrindavan.
Krishna never leaves Vrindavan.
So
when Madhya Yashoda looked at Krishna's mouth, she saw material universes. And she saw spiritual world, and she saw herself. But Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So in his mouth is everything, somehow or other. But this is not the end. Madhya Yashoda saw Krishna and herself looking at Krishna's mouth. And in this second picture of Krishna, she saw Krishna's mouth inside show another universe and another herself, and who's looking through, So that was more mind-boggling. To see, of course, to see whole material or spiritual universe in the mouth of your child is already like amazing. But then seeing herself again in the picture, who is looking at Krishna's mouth and seeing in Krishna's mouth again, this is mind-boggling to me. This is to me, the ends, reason ends. So, Yogeshwara, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, wherever there's Krishna is the master of mystic powers. There's mystic powers, but they're master mystic powers. There are mystic powers in this world that we cannot understand. I was reading this one book, I cannot remember, when I was younger, and this book, this person could expand into two. Actually, he could expand. But the second expansion was not doing much, just sitting there, meditating, whatever. But it was his expansion, yogi. This yogi actually could expand. And the first expansion was normal, he could, it was him. But this expansion of him in some other place. But imagine Krishna, he can expand into thousands of forms, like these calves and cows and children. And they act not just as Krishna, but they act as the children, and they're not different from these children. That's Yogeshwara. That is Yogeshwara, the master of mystic powers. So we should just be happy that that we are somehow allowed to serve this person. Because sometimes when we're on the altar, we see, Radha, Govinda, very beautiful, but actually this is Krishna, the master of mystic powers. All right, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya.